Hey John, how are you?
Hi, I'm good. Hi.
Everything good?
Yeah, everything's good.
Yeah, you got your coffee and got some trees. You know,
Yeah, I got some trees. I'm outside.
that's the life. Just
Right.
yeah,
Yeah,
very good. And first of all, before we start talking about the album "Make Them Beg for Death," you guys played some European festivals and shows. How did it go this summer for you guys?
it went very well, extremely well, better than ever. Uh, yeah, our turnouts, our crowds basically doubled in size. We're averaging 700 people or so at the event, at the smaller clubs and what have you. And normally we would bring out about 300, 400 or something typically. So yeah, just as I could tell, very successful. A good upward momentum building and what have you. So we're pretty happy and pleased with everything.
Oh, that's good. And obviously you guys have been around for a long time, 30 years, give or take. Does
Yeah,
it surprise you that the longevity of, especially a brutal death metal band, you guys still around? Does it still surprise you that you guys are able to make a living out of this or, partially at least?
yeah, yeah. I mean, really, I am, to be honest, pretty surprised. Like you never kn I didn't, no one never knows the future, right? We never know the future for any of us, right? So whenever you decide to make that decision, to go into a band and put everything into it and drop everything else. And it's pretty risky. You're making this, you could go one way, you could go the other, and you never really know. So so in those early stages and all for dying fetus, it was, I didn't know. I didn't think we'd still be sitting here talking about it and all that. I thought maybe I had till, I was maybe 30, 40 years old. I used to think in the past maybe like bands would pretty much stop when they were about 40 years old. Because like when you're 20, early 20s or what have you, you think, about 40 years old and think, oh my God, that guy's so fucking old. And then when you reach the age, you're like, oh, this isn't so bad. I don't feel
Yeah.
so old, and so we never really knew back then how long death metal would last and all. Like, I didn't know that the bands I listened to would still be around. I kind of thought they would retire or they would go, you know, do another job or the demand or what have you. The scene would not even be there for the bands. But so yeah, here we are today and things are going well and I'm just very excited and glad I made that decision to stay with death metal because I was, at that crossroads with my job, back in the day. Like, do I stay, with this job or do I go in death metal? And so I chose death metal, and I guess it was a pretty good decision.
Yeah, it was. And, obviously there is, it's hard to have a secret for longevity of bands. But you guys, Dying Fetus, have put out like an amazing records. Obituary, last record, amazing. Cannibal Corpse, last record, another belter. What is what's happening that bands, extreme and you think they would slow down, but they still going for it and putting their best records to date. How do you attribute that for Dying Fetus, for instance? I know there is no secret, but how can we explain these amazing death metal records still coming out?
Yeah, I mean, obviously people take it seriously. There's a lot of competition. Um, everyone. knows that, the internet is, it's always bringing a new band to light, right? There's always a new band being born or whatever. So there's a lot of competition for the bigger bands, the guys that have been doing it. So that I think it makes them more serious. It's like they don't really want somebody just to come and take their spot, so they're trying even harder, everybody's doing the best they can, I guess, because it's for the love of the metal and for their careers, and taking things seriously. The guys that put in the most effort, take it seriously, they're the ones that usually thrive and continue on. I've had, chats with like different like record labels and stuff and in the past. And what I say, it's up to the band. It's not really, yes, a good record label can help assist the band and continuing their success or what have you, but it's really up to the individuals and the determination and drive that they have in themselves to carry the band forth. You get out of it what you put into it. And I think bands realize this, so they're very, again, serious about their craft, and everybody's working hard at what they do. So I think that's what's going on.
Yeah. Do you sense competition with the music you make? I mean, do you feel like threatened by newer bands somehow? Because they might be able to be great on social media with Twitch and all that stuff. But, at the end of the day, the music and the records and the live performance, it's what's going to matter at the end of the day. You can be amazing on social media, but that's going to last a year or two, maybe more if you're really good. But with bands like you guys, it's just, fuck that shit. Show me on stage how good you are.
Right. Right. Exactly. Like, gimmicks or shticks, things of this nature, they only last so long. It's kind of like a joke.
Yeah.
A joke is only funny so long. You can't keep saying the same joke over and over and get the same reaction. It's kind of that way with bands. Like, yeah, if they have some kind of like, good internet presence and they're funny or clever or creative, yeah, that's cool. But like you said, at the end of the day, it really comes down to the music. This is what brings longevity, stability. This is, carries the band on for decades. And that's why we listen to bands from Black Sabbath, Led Zeppelin, Pink Floyd, all these songs. They're not going anywhere. Comfortably Numb, like, a fucking song that's been played a million times, but it's never going to go. The future generations are going to enjoy that song, because it's such a great song. And yeah, that's what carries us forward. That's what creates legacies or real songs, real music that people can attach to and make their lives a little more enjoyable and what have you. So yeah. I mean, gimmicks and shticks and all that only lasts so long. People want realness. People want, authenticity or whatever, So yeah.
And
The cream always rises to the top, as Macho Man Randy Savage once said.
oh yeah, I loved Randy Savage. I'm big.
Yeah. The cream rises to the top, baby.
He was crazy. I loved Randy Savage.
Yeah.
And let's talk about Make Them Beg for Death. It's been like 5-6 years between the last record. You guys like to take the time to write the songs? Was because of the pandemic? What did you guys take a bit of time to make this new album?
Yeah, it was good and bad is what I would say, right? Because anytime you have more time to work on a project, work on anything, usually you can make it better, you can improve it. And that's kind of what happened with this album. You know, it had extra time to develop it, scrutinize parts. Maybe it, you know, let's change this, or there were riffs I extracted to make the song flow a little better. So you may even take things out and not just add stuff. Anything to improve the product. That's kind of what was going on. And yeah, the pandemic kind of sucked, but it was also kind of cool to have some time for oneself and kind of reflect and appreciate what you have, and just kind of focus in on, you know, a project and what have you. So, you know, you know, I had a good time personally through the pandemic because I live close to the beach and all this, and you know, it wasn't so bad for me, you know, but for others, I know they had a harder time with it. But for me and stuff, I just worked on the album and it came out well. So yeah, you got to take the good with the bad sometimes, I guess, in life. You know, look at the pros and not just the cons all the time. You know.
And so you prefer to have a bit more of the pressure side of things to get things done, or did you enjoy this extra time, even though it took, you know, longer to finish? But do you prefer the pressure, or do you enjoy this extra time to work on the
I
song?
guess, yeah, I mean, I guess extra time. You know, everyone likes a little bit of extra time. They don't. I mean, everyone's different. You know, like if I have someone breathing down my neck, like on my back, like, come on, come on, come on, do this, do this. It's kind of a distraction for me, but others may thrive in that and may work well in that kind of environment. I mean, it's certainly good to have a deadline, have some, you know, time you wish to have your project done by, because if not, you know, it'll never come out. So you can't just waste time, you know, all the, you know, but yeah, you know, it's cool, you know. This just depends on how you look at things, I guess, you know. But whatever you do, just try to make the best of it. That's all you can do with life, right?
Yeah.
So
And you know, just, you know, you guys been around for a very long time, and you know, there is always, you know, from starting from the name of the band, which is can be offensive to some people, you know, lyrically, you guys, you know, don't hold anything. You just go full for it. Where did that, you know, passion, so to say, for gory subjects and stories came? You know, I know it's something that people, a lot of people don't admit, but we do have that sick side in a way, that we like to see blood and stuff like that. But where did that
yeah,
passion came for, you know, for you and for Dying Fetus?
yeah, it's you know, it's interesting. You know, it's like you know, for as many people as listen to Dying Fetus and death metal, it's really not that many people in the big scheme of the world. It's a small percentage of human beings that actually like death metal, that actually can understand and comprehend this shit. There's a lot of people that just, you know, they hear it and it goes right over their head and they think it's noise. They're like, what the fuck is that shit? So it kind of makes you go, what is, you know, what's wrong with me, or why am I different? Why do I like this stuff, but the majority of the world, the mainstream, doesn't like it? You know, it's kind of interesting, you know. It kind of makes you feel like a freak, kind of like, and I don't know. I think maybe that's what happens, you know, in the early stages of death metal or heavy metal or whatever. If you're listening to it, then you realize you're not the majority. You're kind of the minority, and usually there's going to people that are going to harass you, going to kind of fuck with you. Like, why do you listen to this shit? Or you know, you're satanic. You're fucking a freak. They're going to tear you down because of this music and all. But generally, that just makes you like the music more, to have a more of a special bond with the music. And so yeah, I mean, that's what it is. It's like, you know, heavy metal and all this kind of becomes your buddy, your friend that you're not supposed to have, the friend that your parents warned you about, or what have you. So you build this kind of relationship with it. And I don't know. And I don't know. It's just something that I've always enjoyed. I like the intensity, the aggression of heavy metal, and just the freedom which it allows you to do, all kinds of different, things in the music where you can't really do with pop music. It's not so structured. The walls aren't so, high with death metal. There's a lot of room and movement to do what you kind of want to do. But yeah, so it just becomes this friend through life. I feel like heavy metal and stuff, and it's there to help you when times are tough, and get you through the tough times, or like get you motivated to start your day, to get out of bed and to work, or whatever it is, So I don't know. It's like either you understand it or you don't. It's like one of those things, just like horror movies or any kind of form of entertainment. Some people are into it, some people don't want to see it. But like, I guess like for like us metalheads, we get desensitized by all this stuff, like the blood and the gore and and all this. You kind of like, sort of lose touch, like with how offensive it could be to people that don't, listen to this stuff. Like every day I'm talking about this shit, like gore, or, and death metal and the subject matter. So I'm a bit desensitized by it all and everything. But yeah, man, just like, that's all I would say about it. Like heavy metal is it's our buddy, our buddy in crime,
Yeah, I remember when I was, 16, I had long hair and, always wear black t-shirts, heavy metal, all that stuff. And, I remember going out at night and, the old ladies would say that I was a drug addict.
Right. So, yeah.
It was like, I don't even fucking smoke. Like, why am I a drug addict?
Yeah. All they do is there's a lot of stereotypes, for a lot of different people. For women, they get stereotyped and everything, like just being a man out in society, it's kind of tough. Just walking around, people, generally want to think that you're a rapist or think you're a weirdo. No one wants to trust you, like the only time people ever talk to me is when my wife is around, when my woman is around, then they think I'm okay. They don't know anything about death metal or heavy metal, but I'm just saying, as a human being and a man, just in society, like nobody will talk to you really, or generally, like everyone's afraid of each other and stuff. So if you're like, on top of that, to compound that, if you're a metalhead and you're a stranger to someone, then they're really going to think you're a freak, or they're going to think poorly of you. That's the problem with, there's a lot of distrust in the world, which I understand. There's a lot of crazy people, especially over here in America, and you have to watch out. You have to keep your guard up and everything, but you never know. It's a crazy world. But, it's ironic because like most of the people in heavy metal, even though they may look crazy or this and that, but they're usually the most genuine, kindest people, like they're very in tune with nature, very in tune with animals, and peaceful and docile. So, so yeah, there's just a lot of misconceptions in this world and stereotypes. So, but it is what it is, right?
And, in this day and age, because of social media and everything, you really need to be careful with anything you say, because there is always someone who's going to be offended and
Yeah.
you might not have the intention whatsoever, and but you're just being offensive to someone just because you said something that you really didn't think about and probably didn't put anything into it, but someone will find something, and then a whole hullabaloo craziness will start because you used a word that you shouldn't have had. And you know
Yeah.
I don't want to keep my mouth shut for the rest of my life. I don't mind not talking to people, but
Yeah, exactly. Right. That's kind of how it goes, like, and that's kind of always been my style. Like, people that know me, like, I'm not on social media, like sitting, I don't even have a Facebook right now. I don't have an Instagram. I'm not playing this game of look at me and look how cool I am. Like, that's not why I'm here. Yeah, I could be using this dying fetus success and be like, whatever you want to say, tooting my own horn. I could be, talking shit. I could be telling people what they should do, what they shouldn't do. But that's not why I'm here. That's not, and people appreciate that. I feel like I used to think, by me not being online, making a big presence, voicing my opinions, oh, I'm being, counterproductive. I should be doing these things, to help promote dying fetus and be out there being active, talking shit or what have you. But in recent years, I've seen this kind of stuff, and then I'm like, oh, like maybe I do, unintentionally have the better way to go here. Like maybe saying less is more. Like letting your actions speak for you. Everyone says that, right? It's an old cliche. Actions speak louder than words. So just for someone online talking shit and thinking that their ass doesn't stink and they're so great, that's not my style. Fuck that shit. That's not why I'm here. That's kind of what our song when the trend ends is about. It's about fake people, posers, uh, people bringing like fashion into metal and preaching their agendas and all this and taking away from what it's supposed to be, and that's good music, the celebration of music, um, putting their agenda behind it and what have you, and whatever. So yeah, fuck all this, and yeah, be careful. Anybody that wants to run their mouth online, good luck with that. Like make sure watch what you say. And hey, whatever. But I feel like musicians aren't here to be preachers.
yeah.
We're here to deliver music. So that's what I'm concentrating on. So
Yeah. And, just going quickly to the songwriting process, do you normally do you collect ideas, from years and years? Do you have like a backup of riffs and ideas, or you like to work
yeah,
fresh from when you start writing a new album?
yeah. I mean, it's interesting. I do have a bunch of shit on my cell phone, and there is a time for me. It's interesting where I can keep going with writing, like, and forget what I've written in the past, like, to where it can almost be like a machine that just keeps going forward with new riffs. But that's cool. But then at some point, when you have so many riffs, so many things on the table, so many ideas, you can get confused. You lose your direction, or you forget about a good idea. Like I even have like cassette tapes of like recorded riffs from like 10 years ago that I've forgotten about, that are lost in a box somewhere. Like I could have like the magical riff, somewhere that I've forgotten about. So there is a point where you got to kind of like stop and reflect, and like that's kind of where I'm at now. Like when the time, like, yeah, you're always supposed to be continuing to write, but I'm almost at a point where I don't want to write just anything and forget about it. So right now I'm at a point where I need to go out and review like a lot of my past recordings, go through it, sift through it. Oh, what's good? What's not? Delete things before I continue with making more and more stuff, because it just gets confusing. So yeah, it can be good to kind of like, go out fresh. I feel like, and just, don't get bogged down by all these different ideas and what have you.
Yeah.
So yeah, but I do definitely have some shit that I didn't use from. When I say shit, I mean like riffs and songs from the last record I didn't use. I have some really good riffs actually that I'm really happy with, that are gonna be great for the next album. And I'm already thinking of different song titles and like, video kind of concepts. And so yeah, there's always the future to kind of worry about.
Yeah. And speaking of the future, you guys are going on tour in October in the US. What are the plans, after that for 2024? What are the plans for Dying Fetus? Or something that you can say, because I'm sure there is stuff that you cannot talk about yet.
Yeah. The only thing that we have on the books, we have some festivals that we're doing like one of the good things about Dying Fetus is that we can cross over into different styles. And one of the styles would be hardcore music. And, we've used a bit of that hardcore influence in our sound and stuff. So like in a couple months, we're going out and playing a whole hardcore festival. We're the only death metal band on the roster. So we're doing that. And we have a Australian tour lined up with Die Artist Murder in January. So, and that's all been booked months ago. But so that'll be interesting, kind of interesting to see how that goes, with Die Artist Murder. Yeah, we figured, go out with them in Australia. They gave us a really good offer and stuff. And I don't, we all kind of know what's going on with them now. And I'm not going to say too much about it, but, yeah, we're supposed to play with them in January. So we'll see how that goes. And that on the books, that's the only thing we have so far. So we, other than this big tour, we're coming up in America. We're headlining, and we have Despised Icon and Acacia Strain, Creeping Death opening up, and very strong tour, larger venues that we played usually in the past. So things are on the up and on the rise. So we're really excited and, to get out there and fucking play some of these new songs. We're going to be playing Unbridled Fury, Compulsion for Cruelty, Throw Them in a Van, Feast of Ashes. So we're playing a lot of the new songs and a lot of the old hits. And it's going to be a good time.
Cool. All right, John, thank you very much for your time. All the best for Dying Fetus. Hopefully we'll see you guys in Portugal soon. So, fingers crossed for 2024. And, all the best for the upcoming US tour. And hope to see you soon. All right?
Thank you, sir. Appreciate it. Thank you. Stay metal, man. Appreciate it.
You too. Thank you. Have a great day. And see you soon. All right?
All right. Bye-bye.
Thank you. Bye.
Okay. Bye.